WLBT, 3 on your side. WLBT News starts now.
Good morning to you on this Friday. Happening today, the state's Attorney General will address the rising use of e-cigarettes by Mississippi teenagers. Ashley Garner will be live with the details coming up. And later, a look ahead to tonight's End Zone Game of the Week. Meteorologist Patrick Ellis will have your Friday football forecast in just a bit.
But first, we have a live look at the roads this morning. This is I-55 at Highway 463 in Madison. No reports of any accidents this morning. Coming up in our next half hour, a live look from the skies with Skycopter. But turning to First Alert weather now, we are off to a cool start. It feels amazing out there. Patrick, how will people need to dress if they're going to go to some football games tonight?
I think they should dress still in shorts tonight, but that's just my own personal opinion. I think we'll have temperatures dropping off into the 70s. We'll take a look at that forecast here in just a second. Out the door this morning, we're still dealing with this frontal boundary that's stalled near the coast. It's still going to afford us clouds and the chance for maybe a stray shower today, but also we're on the cool side of the front, so that's why you're feeling pretty nice as you're stepping out the door. Most spots this morning in the 60s. So take a live look from our sky cam here in downtown Jackson, looking towards the city skyline from our tower here, and temperatures in the middle and 60s. Near 70 in Macomb right now. On our way up into the lower 80s today. Not lower 90s, lower 80s today, lower to middle 80s with a variably cloudy sky. Maybe a small chance of a shower as we head through the afternoon hours. And going a little farther, of course, our game of the week, Jackson Academy at Jackson Prep. So many games going on across the area. We've got a full list of that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But not looking bad for any of the games. We will make the mention of maybe a few isolated showers, mainly south of the I-20 corridor. But hey, look at those temperatures dropping down to near 70 by 10 o'clock this evening. And then on our way back down to the 60s to start off on your Saturday morning. Full check of your weekend forecast and your 7-day in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Patrick. New at 6. Police in Jackson need your help identifying a man they say broke into a local business. Officers say the man pictured is wanted for taking several items from an office room. Call Crime Stoppers if you know who this man is. Today, the state attorney general will take steps to combat the use of e-cigarettes by teens.
3 on your sides, Ashley Garner joins us live in Jackson with details on the AG's plan. Ashley.
Now, Wilson and Tiffany, Attorney General Jim Hood is taking action against the use of e-cigarettes amongst teens here in the state of Mississippi. Today, we expect to learn more about his plan in curbing this and what they're calling an epidemic. Now, this comes after the Food and Drug Administration recently announced it's cracking down on companies who are targeting teens and kids. The FDA says the number of teens using e-cigs has reached epidemic proportions, and they've already sent letters and fines to several stores for illegally selling e-cigs to minors. Just last month, several vape shops in the metro area were raided and shut down, accused of illegally selling illegal synthetic drugs. Investigators say store owners were targeting high school kids and selling the drugs to them. Now, later this morning, we'll learn how the AG will crack down on this epidemic here in our state. Be sure to stick with WLBT here on air and WLBT.com for more details. Live in Jackson, Ashley Garner, 3 on your side.
All right, Ashley, the Quentin Tellis retrial continues this morning in Batesville. On Thursday, the jury got a firsthand look at the crime scene and at Jessica Chambers' injuries. After a morning field trip to various sites in the case, jurors heard gruesome testimony about Chambers' injuries. They were also shown graphic pictures of her burned body, as well as other pictures. Her father, Ben Chambers, held his head in his hands as the injuries were described. A nurse from the burn unit where Chambers was treated testified that the staff was shocked when Chambers arrived because it was clear that someone had set her on fire.
Well, it was very quiet. I think we were kind of in shock, and it's because of her age. She's just so young, and to think that someone had done this to her.
We will have more coverage from Batesville coming up later this evening.
In North Carolina, officials believe they found the body of a missing boy with autism. 6-year-old Maddox Rich disappeared Saturday while he was at a park with his dad. The boy's dad told police his son ran off and he couldn't find him. Search crews spent the last few days looking for the boy. Officials are still trying to figure out what happened. We're tracking updates in a bombshell story in Memphis. The president of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce was shot and killed on a city street last night. It has rattled the downtown area as Cheryl Lassiter is live in the Alert Center. Cheryl.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Symphony. This is the victim here, 64-year-old Paul Trineri. President and CEO of the Greater Memphis Chamber. Police in Memphis say he was shot and killed around 7:30 last night near a stretch of apartments and condos downtown. The chamber had been holding a 4-mile race called Move It Memphis at the time. That's according to the Memphis Commercial Appeal. Police don't know who did it or why. They're looking for a white Ford pickup truck, from what we understand, that was in the area at the time. Wilson, Symphony.
Thank you, Cheryl. We continue following the arrest of House Speaker pro tempore Greg Snowden. Meridian police say he was charged with DUI refusal after rear-ending a car on Highway 39 in Meridian. Police took Snowden to the police department based on evidence at the scene of the accident. Snowden says he was very irresponsibly looking at his Twitter feed while driving, causing him to hit the vehicle. Snowden says he had one beer earlier in the day at Howlin' Mal's here in Jackson, but he says he was not drunk. And now to Washington, where tempers flared as senators grilled Judge Brett Kavanaugh and his accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford.
Here's a little of what he said during Thursday's hearing.
You may defeat me in the final vote, but you'll never get me to quit. Never.
Kavanaugh continues to deny the allegations against him. And on Thursday, he said the ordeal has ruined his life and the lives of his family members. Ford was equally as passionate as she described the night she says she was attacked. Ford said she's 100% certain that Kavanaugh is the one who attacked her back when they were in high school more than 30 years ago. The Senate Judiciary Committee will vote today on whether to send the nomination to the full Senate. President Trump has been unusually quiet about Thursday's hearing. He sent out just one tweet, quote, "Judge Kavanaugh showed America exactly why I nominated him. His testimony was powerful, honest, and riveting. Democrats' search and destroy strategy is disgraceful, and this process has been a total sham and effort to delay, obstruct, and resist. The Senate must vote," end quote. Governor Bryant also commented on the hearing, complimenting Senator Lindsey Graham, who he thought brought truth to that hearing. We'll continue to follow this story online and on the WLBT News app. Much more ahead on the Today Show as well. Happening today, Vice President Mike Pence will be in Mississippi. He's expected to attend the Wings of Gold ceremony at the Naval Air Station in Meridian. His son, Lieutenant Michael Pence, trained there. The ceremony begins at 11 this morning.
Preparations are underway in South Haven ahead of President Trump's visit. He'll host a rally on Tuesday at the Lander Center. Many of the details surrounding the presidential visit are being kept quiet for security reasons. South Haven Mayor Darren Musselwhite says he's excited about the president's visit to his city.
Well, there's no doubt it's a big deal. You know, you got an active president of the United States that's coming to your city, but I also think it speaks well of our city. We've become a very big center of influence for not just the state of Mississippi, but the Mid-South regions.
Law enforcement couldn't reveal locations of possible road closures next Tuesday, but expect to see them around the airport area in Memphis and into South Haven near the Lander Center. Happening today, it's College Spirit Day at Jackson Public Schools. Myself, along with other speakers, will encourage students to go to college and achieve their dreams at Pecan Park Elementary School. This event begins at 9 o'clock this morning.
This week's high school football game of the week is a big rivalry between Jackson Prep and Jackson Academy. The Patriots have outscored their opponents 284-17 so far this season. We'll find out tonight if they'll be adding to those numbers. Of course, you can catch the highlights tonight right here on WLBT. And we're on your side with some other games happening tonight. Pisgah will be at Puckett, Starkville at Northwest Rankin, Park Lane Academy at MRA, Holmes County at Canton, Callaway at Germantown, Provine at Clinton, Raymond at Lanier, Pelahatchie at St. Joe, Cleveland Central at Ridgeland, Florence at Richland, South Jones at Forest Hill, Pearl at Meridian, Warren Central at Greenville, Brookhaven at Laurel, and Brandon at George County. You can download the WLBT Sports app for scores as they come in tonight.
More games.
For the games. Rather than read it all off.
More games on tap now to college football. It continues tomorrow. Jackson State will play Alabama A&M. Alcorn, plays Southern University, Ole Miss, and LSU. Mississippi State and Florida, and Southern Miss will play Auburn. We'll have the highlights throughout the weekend. Time now 6:09. Here's a look at some big stories we're tracking throughout the hour. The first at 6:16. We'll explain why Tesla's CEO has now been accused of fraud, plus a look at some new menu changes coming to some McDonald's locations.
Right now, though, we've got a live look at First Alert traffic and weather together. Take a look at I-55 at Old Byron Road, no problems. All 6 lanes of I-55 moving along fine for what traffic there is. No problems here or elsewhere this morning, but we'll keep our eye on traffic as always for you. And here's Patrick with the weather.
And we're starting off with more clouds than not in the skies, and they are fairly low to the ground, so could lead up to a couple of patchy zones of fog this morning, but haven't seen a whole lot of that so far, so we'll take that and run with it. Also, the cooler temperatures that a lot of us are starting off with in the 60s right now, on our way up into the 70s to near 80 by 1 o'clock. We'll top out somewhere between about 80 and 84 degrees today, with a small chance of a few afternoon showers and storms. Full check of the forecast after the break to see what's going on for the weekend and what to expect going into next week, because the cool weather that we got going on right now may not last for very much longer. 6:10 is the current time here on this Friday morning.